Okay, so it looks like we are very close to starting this live stream today on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitch simultaneously. So that's pretty good, right? So let's see if we can make this happen. And we are live on Twitch, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube simultaneously. Let me triple check here. I am going to hit refresh and see if my Facebook peeps are here. And yes, we are live on Facebook. So we hit 3,000 subscribers today, and that's really exciting. I'm extremely excited about it. And so let's see. So we have Wendy and Gloria, Manny. How you guys all doing? So good to see yous. And let's see. Everything looks okay. And so I'm going to fire up my airbrush. And of course, the Extreme Patriot Arrow. You know, the favorite airbrush that has gotten me to 3,000, gotten us to 3,000 subscribers. Klaus, how are you? Good to see you. So we've got everyone here, so I'm so happy. And so Gloria's here and Wendy. So great. So as you can see, we are working on this one portrait. It's getting ready to be completed, which is very exciting. I'm always happy to share my inspiration with you guys, and so this is just my way of giving back. Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate that so much. Now, let's see. So let's fire up the airbrush. I'm going to start with the light mixture. I always like to start with the light mixture when I begin a work for the first time during the day. You know, you want to warm up like a pitcher. You want to have your practice pitches. You don't want to face your batter right away. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. Okay, so we always want to go ahead and test our. So I can't believe we hit 3,000 subscribers today. When I started this channel back in 2008, I never knew that it would get there. Emily, how are you? Thank you so much for coming by. It's good to see you. So Wendy says I should do blondes more. Well, you know, it's, you know, I think blondes, you know, deserve attention as well. And let's see. Okay, so now that I'm working here, I'm just going to just reiterate some of these lines here. So how's everyone doing on Friday? I can't believe it's Friday. Of course, with the way life is, every day is sort of blending into the next. Every week is kind of blending into the next, right guys? I mean, it's crazy. So I started this channel, the YouTube channel, in 2008, March of 2008. I seen an article in an art magazine of this one artist who was doing paintings on YouTube. And so we had one of those old-fashioned camcorders, and we decided to give it a try. And since then, I've been doing YouTube videos, at least I would say once every couple of months. I didn't really start going strong into YouTube videos until January of 2017. Claudia, how are you? Good to see you. How's everything down in Florida? Please be careful down there. I'm hearing you guys are getting what we had up north a while ago, so it must be pretty scary down there. But it's scary everywhere, right? So Wendy says it will be Christmas soon. Yeah, because every day is blending into the next, right? That's for sure. So with the light mixture, I'm able to go ahead and just start doing some of the real finer points of the airbrush, you know, with this portrait. So it's really it's really nice not to have the pressure of going in with the medium mixture and working dark, because when you work dark, it gets way too difficult. You don't have as much control. So when you start a painting, always start with the light mixture. It's very, very important to do so. And let me see here. Okay, I have it for just friends. Let me change this to public so we can have everyone here. Okay, so that's good. And we don't have any YouTube people, so that's interesting. But then again, my YouTube people know Wednesday nights is part of the night for that. So the airbrush is the Extreme Patriot Arrow by Badger. I've been using Badger now for 2 years exclusively, and I'm telling you, it really made a big difference in my art once I made the switch. As you can see now, I can go ahead and do these transition tones. Oh, the YouTube people are at work. Okay, that makes sense. And I also like to have an early one like this every now and then for my UK peeps. And let's see here if I see anyone. I'm also streaming on Twitch simultaneously, which is really cool. So I'm streaming on 3 different platforms at once. And I like to use a soft eraser, which is this knock. Hey Ian, how you doing? Good to see you. Well, I could imagine, people being busy on this Friday afternoon, but I just wanted to thank everyone and do a very quick live stream just to let you guys know I appreciate yous. Now it's a little wider here in her Cupid's bow. I love that body part, the Cupid's bow. Doesn't sound nice on a guy, oh, look at his Cupid bow. No, but on a woman that sounds very elegant. David, good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, the streaming for YouTube is live, but no chat. Okay, there's no chat in the YouTube, huh? That's interesting. And Klaus says, why do you change so often? Does that have something to do with drying? As far as changing what element, my friend Klaus? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, David. Thank you so much. Let me see if I could pull up YouTube here real quick. I'll go to my channel and see. Okay, so we have live. And oh, cool, Jersey Joe, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. We hit 3,000, so I can see you guys, but I can't see you in the chat, so it's so cool. And Andrew, nice to see you. So cool you're here. And David, that's really great. Let's see. So I'm going to double check here real quick, and I'll get to you guys on. Okay, so I'm going to remove YouTube chat viewer, and then I'm going to add it, and let's see if that does the trick, my friends. So I could see you. I'm going to authorize it. Authorize. Yes. And then I should be able to see. There we go. And all I have to do is increase the pixels. Increase the pixels. Let's see. Okay, great. So Andrew, good to see you. Thank you so much. So I got you guys covered now. So now I can see Jersey Joe, David, and Andrew all on my YouTube channel. So that's great. And let's see. Oh, I like to move around a lot, Klaus. The reason is that I want to work the whole painting, the ensemble, right? So I want to basically make sure that I'm not stuck in one spot, and I'm really paying attention to the whole. This way I can see all the values. Ah, I'm so glad you finished work there, Andrews. That's so fantastic. And we did hit the 3,000, which is really fantastic. And thank you guys, you know. And also, you know, when I first start, Klaus, you know, I'm not exactly focused on what exactly I'm going to do. But this is just a way for me to, how do you say, just warm up, you know? And that's what I'm doing now, just pretty much warming up. See if I could, there we go, so you can see the whole picture. Let's see if we can work on her hair right now, over here. Just darken this up. You know, I'm going to come in with the medium mixture. I'll do it a 2 airbrush system, and you know, I'll go to the light and medium mixture, and then from there I'll go through to the medium and the dark mixture with the 2 airbrushes. And both airbrushes I'm using are the Extreme Patriot Arrow by Badger. So this is a good time to use my freehand shield right here. And let's see. We'll just move these things out of the way. And what I really try to do when working is to get very, keep things very, very clean. Cleanliness is really fantastic when painting portraits in airbrush. It's so important. There we go. And I like to have a piece of paper underneath, just so I don't kill my table any more than I have to. It's already killed. So, but I still want to try and keep it looking somewhat nice. I'm going to get some Fantastic and try and clean that up, all the overspray. Oh, so Andrew says he's now on 2 weeks annual leave, so a vacation. Oh, that's great. That would be great to see you on the live streams during that time. So what an honor that you would spend part of your vacation with me, so and the channel. So I really appreciate that, Andrew. It's so cool to have, you know, all these different streams going on. We've got Facebook. Facebook people can talk to YouTube people. I think that's pretty cool. And Alex J. Soto says hi. Oh, Amber, how you been? Good to see you. Are you still doing your wonderful artwork? I hope so. So glad to see you. So yeah, we hit 3,000 subscribers. Now right here, it's a little bit darker in this cartilage of her nose here. How cute is that? Very pretty. We'll just put that in there. And what it does, it gives clarity and brings her much more in focus, you know, which I really like. And that's what I want to create with this painting, is the idea of things being in focus and depth of field, things going out of focus. That's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to zoom into my reference and we're going to work on her eyebrow here. Just put some texture in her eyebrow, you know? Go. So it's nice to have a live stream every now and then. I'm thinking of doing a video or live stream every day in August. I know, crazy, but I'm going to try. I'm going to see what that does for the channel. Does it get it exposed to more people? Does it help the channel? Will it be something that you guys and girls would really love? So you see how I'm just getting a little bit more texture in her eyebrow here, and also give some direction to the grain of her eyebrow, which I think is really important. Oh, good to see you too. That is so great. I'm so glad you still do it. That's so important. Very important. I'm going to sharpen this this guy right here. Let's make this happen. And we're just going to give a little more texture, worry about the edge work. So it's not good enough just to go ahead and say, hey, I have the shape and value correct. It's not good enough. You have to also see how the eyebrow reacts with the border of the adjacent shape or value. Is it fuzzy? Is it sharp? Those are things we want to know. And those are things that we are going to pay attention to. So right here, it's a little fuzzy. And then super fuzzy right there. And then we're going to come in and make this a little bit bigger. Very fuzzy over here. And that creates more realism. And be careful not to oversaturate the surface here. Meaning make it too wet and then you get spidery. And feel free to lower the air pressure. That's cool too. Let's see. Okay, so nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. And let's continue with the edge work here. So what does 3,000 subscribers mean? To me, it's not just a milestone, but there are advantages to having 3,000 subscribers. I think at this point, we're not considered a teeny tiny channel. We're still a small channel, but I think if we go to prospective clients or sponsors, I think we'll be able to get more attention and more people to sponsor the channel, help us with giveaways on our videos, and also, you know, help me to get better equipment to make the channel even better. So that's some of the perks of hitting 3,000. So blonde hair is always a challenge, especially platinum blonde like this young lady is, because you don't have that normal contrast. Everything is pretty much very light. So there are variations in light and in whites and light grays, which we have to pay attention to. Okay, so now I'm just searching for my Kneaded Eraser, and that's K-N-E-A-D, Kneaded. Not needed like I need it. However, I do need the eraser right now, so that's kind of ironic. And okay, so I have this, and what I can do is just break off a piece with some scissors. And let's make that happen. You don't want to be using a big wad of Kneaded Eraser. Just a small piece will do, like this. Okay. And then you save this. A large one should last you about a year, and I'm talking like working almost every day. Now I said the whole thing, the large thing, should last you a year. These things get nasty in about a month or so, and you got to throw it away because it accumulates oil and graphite and everything. And then it's no good to you, and it doesn't work as well. So the difference between a new Kneaded Eraser and an old one is glaring, definitely. Hey David, how are you today? God bless you, my friend. Always love your work. Okay, so then they call it a Kneaded Eraser because you can knead it, and you can put it into the shapes that you want, which is really great. Okay, so you see here I got a little overzealous with the white pastel, and I could calm this down. And the thing is, you could calm it down by tapping, and you can control how much less the white pastel is. So that is from my drawing days. I still draw all the time, but that's how I learned that trick from drawing. So coming into the art world, coming from the art world, the fine art world, and going into airbrush gave me a lot of advantages. I already was, doing portraits and getting likenesses for many, many years. And then when I came to airbrush, I had to learn to control this crazy thing, which wasn't too easy. The airbrush is definitely a learning curve, that's for sure. Over here, a little bit light, so I'm going to use my Kneaded Eraser, and I'm going to calm that down by tapping. You see how I can calm that down? Just by tapping. And then I can just dust this with the light mixture. Just calm it down just a little bit. Now I'm going to check and see what's going on in Twitch. I'm still, not established in Twitch yet, but it's a lot of fun. And let's see, is anyone watching me in Twitch? Let's see. And I am looking at a full screen in Twitch. That's too big. Let's see. No, nobody's in Twitch, but I'm still going to stay in Twitch, and we'll just monitor everything from Facebook, and we can see our YouTube people, which is very cool. And what I can do is bring down my drawing. There we go. And just work on our edges here. Yeah, she's the first platinum blonde I have painted in quite some time. Right here, a little bit strong. Let's see. Right there. Getting a little bit of a sheen there. We got to get rid of that. And make sure we just match that with what we see in our reference. 1 second rule, always pay attention to what you're painting. Look for a second, then paint for a second. Very important. Now with the hair, you can get very, very detailed. Okay, so I do have a variety of different erasers, and each has their really good function. This is the Mono Zero. It's a chisel, and what I would do with that is I would come down here and see if I could just do this stray hair coming down. Just erase that. And we can do something really cool. We can actually cut this into even a more chiseled point. So I'll just pull this out a little bit more. And then sort of cut it at maybe a 45-degree angle. There we go. And what happens is we get a really nice chiseled point, if you can see that. And then let's see if this works. And then we can have that one hair going down. And same over here. It allows us to get thin hairs, which is really good. And really just continue with that whole illusion of hair. And then we can come in with our Fons and Porter here. And just want to make sure that everything is smooth and not too rough looking. Yeah, when you're painting a woman's portrait, you don't want to have any roughness to it at all. At least I don't. There we go. So I have a couple of new orders for my Airbrush India inks that I'm using here today, and I'll be sending them out, which is very exciting. Always happy when I have new people trying out my Airbrush India inks, and I hope they have as much fun as I'm having painting this. And let's go back here. As you can see, we're just modeling the forms of the hair. Hair is a three-dimensional form, and so I'm not worried about individual hairs. Hey Cheryl, good to see you. How are you today? Thank you so much. Oh yes, hey Philip, how you doing? This is the Fons and Porter, yes. And it's wonderful. Definitely get a hold of that if you can, my friend. You won't be sorry, Phil. It's really great. It just comes to the rescue so much, especially in the later stages of your painting. I'm so cool. So happy you're doing well, Cheryl. That is so great. Now, I always say how it's important to get the shape and the value, but we also have to realize we have to get the shape and the value and the edge of how this shape borders with the adjacent shape. So this light under here, we have to get that border correctly. And if we pay attention to that, then all of a sudden she begins to have skin texture, which is really cool. She's not looking like a robot, right? And thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. Oh, Cheryl asked, how long does it take? I would say anywhere between 10 and 14 hours, pretty much. From very start to finish, like the idea and everything, and working on the backgrounds in Photoshop, and then going ahead and printing out the reference, and then drawing it out, and then painting. So 10 to 14 hours, Cheryl, you know, more or less. And the size is usually the same, like 8.5 by 11 inches. And it's just like right now I'm going to continue working on the hair and I'm trying to get the hair texture, which is really important. And like right here, I can see I was a little overzealous with this dark, and I could lighten that up and just soften it so it's not like very glaring. And always stick to that 1 second rule, which means you look for a second before you paint for a second, and you don't paint longer than you look. And that will keep us honest and make sure we are, you know, really paying attention to what we're seeing, and then translating that onto our painting. And I'm going to soften this up here. And you see how I can have the ear look like it's going back into focus, and sort of like the way depth of field. So we're concentrating on her eye and her mouth area. So this is the first time that I'm streaming on all 3 platforms at one time: Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, which is really good. Increases the amount of people who can see it, you know, and I could talk to. So that's all cool stuff. See, I'm doing some individual hairs here. And it's also a good way to have her hair feel like it's going back into space too. Go. Check real fast to see how we're doing, and everything's good. We have a good stream going in Facebook, in YouTube, and Twitch. Very cool. Now what I like to do is look at the whole picture, sort of squint my eyes and ask myself, what are the large shapes going on, you know? And I can see it's much darker over here. This large area is much darker. And then it gets very dark over here. And then I can squint my eyes and I can see that it's darker over here. And it helps us to see the large shapes. and not get too hung up on individual hairs, right? So David says, Tim, can I email you the link for the airbrushes and the code? Of course, definitely. That would be great. I'll definitely take care of you on that. Yeah, so the Extreme Patriot Arrow is my airbrush of choice. I'm going to email you this, of course, David. And Extreme Patriot Arrow by Badger. I changed the trigger on that, and it's a really great airbrush. You can get the most amazing detail with it. And the code, I have a code. It's timothypsa, and that gives you 10% off of your order. Anything that you order at Badger, which is really great. So I'm able to save my friends money, and that's always makes me happy. If I can save you guys money, it's a win-win situation. And I always love to promote Badger. As you can see, we are just working out her hair, but looking at the hair with the big picture, looking at the large shapes, and always squinting your eyes, right? Always squint your eye to see the large shapes and the value as it gets darker and lighter. And Philip says he saw a Faber-Castell India ink pen with a fine point. Is that the same as the Fons and Porter? No, good question. The Fons and Porter is like a chalk pencil, and this is what a tailor would use. But it really works good in this sense because you have such tight detail. You can get in there even better than a pastel pencil. And look how great that is, how you can just get in there. And this was told by a UK friend of mine who does these wonderful pencil portraits, so that was a real find. So definitely different than an eraser. It's more in line to white pastel. So great question, that's for sure. And so David says, can he get a shorter trigger from them as well? Yes, the good thing is any Badger trigger pretty much is interchangeable. So you want to get rid of that high roller trigger and replace it with that. It's like $6 if that. I think there's one for even $4 on the website. Now I'm going to give you a link on that, so that would be cool. And if you do go ahead and purchase them, if you can just email me an order number, and so this way I can let them know that that I went ahead and referred you. Make sure you get that 10% discount on your whole order. That would be for the trigger and everything. So still I'm looking at the large shapes here, very important. This is very soft. For me to use a freehand shield right there would be kind of counterproductive. So I'm just going to very dark over here. Still using the light mixture. I'm going to come in with the dark mixture later. Squinting my eyes to see the lights and darks of the large shapes of her hair here. Very important. Oh, my pleasure, David. That's for sure. So you see how it's important to see the large shapes and not get caught up into the individual hairs, because that will only take away from the realism. You want the painting to really translate from far away. And to do that, we definitely have to pay attention to the big shapes first, and then the smaller shapes will follow. And I just love, when we work on the big shapes, how she really starts to carry and feel solid from far away. And that's what you want her to feel, solid. That's important. And Philip says he missed what I said where you can find the Fons and Porter. Oh, great. I do have a link I could get you. Let me see if I can get that link for you real fast, my friend. Here is my Amazon link. And this is to my store. Oh, wow. Let's see. Amazon keeps changing which is quite annoying. Philip, I'm going to get you in a link to my store, my Amazon store, and the Fons and Porter is there. So I'll get that for you in just probably shortly after this live stream. So always happy to help you guys. And I'll find you the best price too. And worrying about the large shapes, you start to see the, I'll send that to you as well, David, definitely. So it's pretty cool. We have the YouTube and people from Facebook at the same time chatting. She has a cute little nose ring there. And let's see if we can just put a little highlight there. There we go. Oh, that looks cute. Okay. And let's just calm down that shadow. Tim got a little overzealous with the shadow there on the top side of that, so we can calm that down with some white pastel. Here we go. Just a little bit to calm down that shape. And it's a little darker right here, so I'm going to zoom in on my reference. There we go. And let's give a little volume to her nostril here. And let's calm this down right here. Cast shadow of her. It's a little dark. Sometimes, you know, you have to continue looking and making sure you don't go too dark. And you can see I like to move around a lot in the painting. It's very important. Oh, great, definitely. I'll make sure you get those links, my friend. So later today, I am sending out some of my inks to some new customers, so that's exciting. And also someone who's reordering the inks, and that's an honor. There's a little bit of reflected light here in the nostril, or just outside the nostril there. And that creates just a little bit more realism. And David says, believe it or not, Tim, I have been using your technique on the car airbrushing, and they have been coming out great. Wow, with clear, you put clear over it. Isn't that fantastic? I'd love to see one of them. That's great. Thank you for that. And see, I learned as much from you guys as you guys learned from me, so that's great. Let me go ahead and get my second airbrush of the 2 airbrush system. Hey Kiva, thank you so much. How are you today? Always great to see you. So here's my second Extreme Patriot arrow. And here's my cap. I'm going to put the medium mixture in there. So how you been, Kiva? I miss you. You want to give it a good shake. always. Any paint, any ink that you use, you want to shake it. It's always a good practice. Never a bad practice to shake it, no matter what you paint with. Acrylic, watercolor, oil. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to give it a quick test. I'm just going to move this young lady over here. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now we have some really good air flowing, and we have the medium mixture now. And not necessarily going to use medium mixture right off the bat. I'm still going to calm down the nostril area here. Put a little more air. You always want to adjust your air, but not at the compressor, you know, with this pack valve here that comes with the Extreme Patriot arrows, or your Mac valve. Like if you have, let's say, a Micron or an Iwata Highline that comes with the built-in one, you know. So Kiva says she's doing great, and thank you so much, Kiva. Always a pleasure to see you. So David, are you saying that you do custom work with the ink on cars? Is that correct? If that's true, that's groundbreaking. That's a game changer. She has these little lines under her eyes. I like painting little imperfections in portraits of beautiful women, because that's what makes them beautiful, that they're not perfect. And John says, hey John, thank you so much. We did it, 3,000, right? Very cool. Very, very cool. Still with the light mixture right now. Moving around. So I kind of like the way, see if I can zoom in and show you. See those like real beautiful lines we can get. See that? That's just really great, really fun to do. And then we can come in and just do the slightest light there. Oh, look at that. That looks good. It may look a little harsh, but when you come back out, it really gives it a nice look, you know? Yeah, so 3,000 subscribers, we really did well. Oh, here's a great question. Andrew says, Tim, do you have a view of the Extreme Patriot Arrow version 1 has been difficult to get here in the UK. I saw a good deal on the second version and took a chance on it. Now, this is my little bit of a modification of the Extreme Patriot Arrow. I went ahead and put the Sotar back so I have access to the needle, which is better than I feel than the one that comes with it. I have a shorter trigger. So those are my modifications. Now, normally the Extreme Patriot Arrow has this backing here. But I like this because I need to get to the needle quicker. So that's why I changed it. What I could do, okay, so you're in the UK, Andrew, yes. So definitely we can see what we can do about getting you one in the UK. So we can definitely talk about that. And of course, I'm going to go back into working with the hair. Now I can actually come in and sort of do the lights that are in the shadows here. Always try to use your least expensive, your least not expensive, your least aggressive eraser first. And then if you need, get more aggressive progressively until you are erasing the way you want. You don't want to start off with an aggressive eraser because you may be tearing up the paper unnecessarily. Am I being overzealous in this area here? I think so. One of the things you can do, you can ask yourself, is the light here as bright as the light here? And I can say no. Is the light here as bright as, let's say, the light here? And I could say yes. So you want to look at the relative values. So if I want to dust that, I'll probably be about 3.5 inches away, and I can just lightly dust that to calm that down. It also gives, oh, my pleasure, Andrew, definitely. It also gives a really nice smokiness. I love when women, when they do makeup, they have those smoky eyes, and that's very cute. Very, very cute. This is a little bit darker. Let me see if I can use my medium mixture airbrush here. You know, you want to have both the light medium mixture because you don't want to wait until, you know, oh, I'm just going to do all the light mixture. But if you see something with the medium mixture, you can go right in like this. Like having an HB and a 6B pencil in your hand at the same time. If you need to go dark, you can. There we go. Go off the screen a little bit. And we can come back with this eraser and see about getting this shape correct here. Worry about the big shapes. Very important to worry about the big shapes. Don't get hung up on the small shapes. If you know, you always want to try and not get hung up on the small shapes. Small shapes have their place, you know, at the very end you can do those real tight details, that sort of thing. Oh, I love the way this this hair is starting to come out, giving her some nice volume, getting her a sassy look there. There's a translucency to her hair. It's neither in shadow, neither in the light. It's like the hair is sort of translucent or almost transparent. And you'll know when you're done, you know, but the thing is, stick with the hair. Hair is very important to stick with because hair could kick our butt if we are not careful. I'm just going to share this to a couple of groups here. Okay, cool. Hey Bradley, how you doing, my friend in Canada? Good to see you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that a lot. I was just saying how we have to stick with the hair, you know? We keep going back and forth, squinting our eyes, looking at details, squinting our eyes, getting the large shapes. But her hair, the word of the day is definitely soft edge. I need some food. Got a little bit of an emptiness in my stomach. Living alone, sometimes I forget to eat. Willie, how you doing? Happy Friday, my friend. We hit 3,000. This is a happy 3,000 bonus video, sir. So we are simultaneously streaming on Livestream, Twitch, and Facebook. So that's a rarity that I do something like that, but I thought today's achievement for our group, this really warranted. Congratulations, thank you, and congrats to you and all my subscribers for sticking with me and you know, helping this to grow to where it is, and hopefully it'll get much bigger and just help out many people. Inspire people to, you know, work in Airbrush and other mediums and push their portraits to the next level. That's what we're hoping. Go. So I'm in a medium mixture, a little bit stronger. Tony, good to see you. How you doing? We did it. 3,000 subscribers. Tony all the way in the UK. So good to see you, my friend. And, you know, as I'm saying, you know, throughout, we are just making sure that we are sticking with the hair, not getting overwhelmed. Still doing our 1 second rule, that sort of thing. Oh, Willie's got to get back to work. Thanks so much for stopping by, my friend. Good to see you. And so I'm looking at the big picture of the hair here, and over to the side we have more hair going in different direction here. So direction change. And I'm using the aggressive eraser for this. And if I need to come in with the white, that's okay too. There we go. And you see how it just gives more volume and our hair starts to come together. So right here we have this curve of hair coming down. Hair is very important, especially in a woman's portrait. Especially. I know how you ladies are with hair. How important it is. And it is. Some say hair is the crown of a woman. I think so. Jacob, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. 3,000, we did it. Michelle, how are you? Oh, thank you so much. Yes, what's our next milestone? Well, 4,000. I think 5,000 is the next big one. And then 10,000, and then 100,000. See that? We're just creating just a little bit of volume here, moving around. But that's the thing, we have to stick with the hair as a whole, and then eventually we're going to really get a sense or an impression of her hair. There we go. Now, over here, I'd say it ends right about there. I'm just extending it out, but that's where the reference ends, right about there. Let's go back with the light mixture. So we have this sort of break in the hair here, and then it just sort of disappears as we get higher up. Same thing here, it's really intense here, it's dark, and then it softens and just sort of dissipates as we go higher. Over here is interesting, so you can always look and ask yourself what belongs and doesn't belong, and there's a sort of a pencil line or hard edge right here. We want to get rid of that. If it doesn't belong, it has to go. So right here, it gets a little darker. We can use our freehand shield for that. I'm about 4 inches away. And you see I went perpendicular and not parallel, which is very important. So you can see how we can work out her hair. But only if we stick with it, right? So I'm in the light mixture, meaning that it's very subtle value changes. And that's what we have here in her, you know, beautiful blonde hair here. So this hair is sort of rounded, so it's turning, so we have to do this shadow as it turns. And then over here we have a different shadow, which is a cast shadow, which is darker towards the edge, right? And then softens up in the middle, and then we have a dark edge at the end here. sort of dissipates up there. Hey Rob, good to see you. How are you today? Oh, where did I attain the glove? So the glove is, I got this from Huion. I have a Huion tablet for digital art, and it comes with it. But you can order these. Just type in art glove on eBay or Amazon. They're real inexpensive, so highly recommend it. So you see, I don't put smudges on my artwork, which is really great, Rob. And then the hair gets thicker up here. See how I have it real thin? So I have to always pay attention and always double check my eyes and the powers of observation. It's an ongoing process when you're painting. You're gonna make mistakes, but the important thing is to see your mistakes, look for them, and then fix them. So you see how by doing this, you can get a even better feeling of the volume of her hair as it's coming across her face. Almost like a Veronica Lake type of thing here. I love the Veronica Lake, the way she had that, one eye covered. I think that's a very beautiful thing that women do, one eye covered. Ooh, so I'm looking now and I can see more intensity over here in her cheek. That's why moving around is good, because when you move around you could really see. And you can see how I'm tapping because skin texture is not smooth. So the highlight on her cheekbone is not going to be in one spot. It's going to be staggered because it's not smooth. Do you ever see on a sunny day a placid lake? Not a placid lake, but a lake that, on a little bit of wind, you see how each wave is sort of sparkles because there's little waves on the lake, and that's why you see the sparkling. And the same thing in a person's face. You're not going to see just a smooth light. It's going to bounce around. So I'm just going to pay attention and see how it bounces around. And as you can see, like as I move around on her cheek, I can start to see where it's even brighter. And this helps you to pay attention not only to shapes, right, or the value, but also how they interact with the adjacent shapes and adjacent colors. So very important. So now that I see that, I'm going to ask myself, is the light brighter or the same? So right here is where the center. This is probably the most light facing point on her body or her face right there. So that's where we're going to put it. And you see how when you identify the most light facing spot on her cheek, that it really pops out and sort of intensifies over here. It just makes her more three-dimensional, right? She's popping out, and that's what we want. So same thing here, right here on her nose. It's so intense right here. So we're going to really put in the most intense spot, the spot that's facing the light the most. And then it sort of dissipates and gets less powerful as we move. But notice that, it's not just hitting a straight line, because her nose, her skin is uneven. It's an uneven surface, not in color, uneven in texture. She's not made out of what a toaster is made out of. She's not smooth and slick. So do you guys like this kind of impromptu sort of live stream? I mean, is it something that interests you? I mean, I'll do more, definitely. So those of you who are on Facebook and Twitch, go ahead and hit the like button. Those of you who are on YouTube, hit the like button. YouTube, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And we're going for 4,000 right now. We're at 3,001, so that's very cool. So you see how intense it is over here. Most light-facing spots on her face. That's where we want to really concentrate on. And not only that, but the edges. See how we can, by paying attention to what's there, we can really get things to start looking real, three-dimensional. Hey, what's up, Bowles? How you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. And thank you for the encouragement. And I'm so glad you're here. And right now what I'm looking for are the most light facing on her face. And this is like advanced in the sense that, later stages. You don't do this in the beginning. This is what you really start to model the forms, making the forms on her face a lot more three-dimensional. There we go. Same with the eye. See how just as the eye turns towards us, it gets brighter. Closer to the iris, it seems to get brighter. There we go. Just a little bit, and you see how that brings things forward, right? There's an intensity in her hair right here. Let's put that in. Hey, Gran, how you doing? Good to see you. So glad you're here. And then I can also see where I'm a little overzealous. I can calm that down. Over here it is. See, you can start to see where you could see where more light is actually catching parts of her features. And paying attention to that is really going to help making her very three-dimensional. Of course, if anyone's interested, after this is over, this piece of artwork is for sale. So any inquiries, let me know. I would be happy to put her into your collection. Oh, great, Andrew, definitely. Because my UK peeps like yourself, I want to make sure that it's not going to be only like, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to do that to you. I want you guys and girls in the UK to, be able to ask questions live, So that's good. So I'm glad you guys like that. You'd be surprised, these little things really go a long way in, number one, creating a likeness, and number two, just making her more three-dimensional. Interesting, on her ear here, towards, there's an intensity here of light, and I'm just going to touch on that. I think she might have a stud in her ear and is causing a bulge on this side and is catching the light more. I think that might be the case. Ooh, there's a weird noise. Lawnmower or a street cleaner? Not sure which. Maybe there's both of them. Outside my window. And so Klaus says it is allowed to repaint your picture. Sure, of course you can. Remember also there are lights within the darks, and we could visit that too. So right here, there's some light areas in this, and you could just create more luminous quality. There we go. And I sort of like, I mean, I do like the way that things are going forward and going back at the same time. I'm going to come in with my media mixture, and let's just darken her bra strap here. Let's darken that. And I think once we darken this, it really moves her shoulder forward, and I like that. So it's pretty great that I'm able to be on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube live all at the same time. Which is really cool because I get to increase a lot more people to get exposed to this technique. See how just by bringing that shadow, or sorry, the strap, and darkening that, how that really creates more sense of things coming forward and going back. So I like that a lot. And then later I'll come in with the dark mixture and really powerfully go in there. So I think I'm going to paint with you guys until 1 o'clock Eastern time. That's like another 12, 13 minutes. I have the medium mixture in now, so I'm just going to do a little bit more bold shadows. See her trapezius muscle as it comes in, and then we have a zygomatic arch come down. Not a zygomatic arch, the sternocleidomastoid. Intensify this here. Really give a sense of it dark under her chin, and then a lot of reflected light happening down here. So how long I've been on today? Oh, so far, like over an hour. Not bad. So I had the medium mixture in. Let's go ahead and just darken that little nose ring that she has. So cute. There we go. That really pops out now. And then it is a little stronger in value right there. Just really pushing her forward. And let's work on this shadow area over here. Soft edge, soft, soft. So if I want soft edge, I just increase the distance of my airbrush to the paper, and it gets nice and soft. If I want a harder edge and darker, I come close. And then what I can do is darken this whole area of her neck. Now, always squint your eyes, right? When you squint your eyes, you can see the large shapes and the values correctly. As you can see, I can darken her neck here. And what that does, it really puts that neck further back and brings her face forward, and that's what we want. I always take photographs that a photographer has done, or I have photographed, and I always like to go ahead and on the computer manipulate the edges, and for whatever emotion or feeling I want. So I don't just go with what the photographer does, I will change it. A little more intense dark right here. Remember, when something's facing the light, it's going to have a brighter light. When something is further away from the light, it's going to have a more intense dark. And that's all relative. Hey, Leela, how are you? This is... oh, that's okay, Leela. This is a airbrush, of course. And they're really great. I think you would love it. You have to try it one day. It's really very cool. But I'm so glad you're here, so thank you so much for stopping by. It's always good to see you. There we go. Now, as you can see, everything, I have to make sure that the edges are going to really dictate what's more intense and what's further back. And that's what we want to do. See how the edge of the neck, in the shadow, by softening that, it sort of brings her chin forward, which I like. And another thing you can see is I go from the white pastel to the airbrush and back and forth, and that's very important. That's why I have at least 2 airbrushes going, so I can go from one value to the next. We're not having to wait at this later stage. This is the end game of a painting. This is not the beginning. In the beginning, you want to stick with just one airbrush, because you don't want to get too dark too early. You're going to stay with the light mixture for as long as possible. Just putting in some of these beautiful hairs. And then the edge of where the hands and the hair meet, it's there's really no shadow, but there is a value change. If you're going to use a freehand shield and you see it sort of flips up a little bit, like air gets under, Just tilt it up a little bit. There we go. So you see how that hand starts to tuck behind the hair there. Beautiful. There we go. And it's all about intensity, you know, where the shadows are more intense, where the lights are more intense, and, you know, painting accordingly. But you're really going to get there by paying attention, by looking for a second and then painting for a second. And don't overdo it, you know? Very intense dark here. I'm starving. I think I'm going to make myself some salmon burgers. That might be a good idea. What do you guys think? Salmon burgers with a little bit of rice and beans? I think that's what I'm going to have for lunch. It's going to be more like my dinner. I guess I'm doing it more like you guys do in Spain, right? Have that really large meal in the middle of the day. I have to get to the post office and ship out some ink, so I'm excited about that. And let's work on this here. Darken the strap. Sharpen that edge. There's always going to be something in a painting that you're not happy with, that you wish you'd done differently. But that's a good thing because it gives you something to work on in the next painting. Right? It allows us to concentrate on fixing something that we had trouble with in the prior painting, and that's where the growth happens. I'm just going to dust this hand down. See how we can push that hand back? Just dusting. There we go. And so I'm going to look at this area of shadow here. A little intense over here. Over here. And cast shadow. And then we can also see, hey Philip, thank you so much. I appreciate that, sir, very much. Thank you for the encouragement. These hands back here are in shadow. So I'm going to be about 3 inches away. I'm just going to darken that hand here. And it's very fuzzy. Really not much information here, but if we play it right, it'll look good, you know? We want to make sure that everything... Hey Peter, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see you, my friend. So I'm in the medium mixture right now. And so you always want to try and turn the forms, right? You always want to see things turning. And you want to pay attention to that. And that's what we're doing, just making sure that things are turning still and not looking flat. And that's where the work starts to look sculptural. When I come in with the dark mixture here, it'll start making even more sense. Now, in the hand, this is all very abstract, light and darks, and it'll reveal itself when you get the values down, as you can see here. Oh, Klaus, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. That means so much to me, my friend. Thank you. Now here, this shoulder, we have to make sure that shoulder turns, right? So let's go ahead and just very lightly, I'm about 5 inches from the surface, and I'm just going to turn this shoulder here. I'm going to use a medium mixture, and then I'm going to use the light mixture and get the different. Hey Ryan, good to see you. How are you, my friend? Almost done with this painting. I would say probably 80% done with her. So some stuff to do with the hair and turning of the forms here. Maybe some little detail here and there, some freckles, that sort of thing. Over here, I'm just going to pump the trigger, and I'm going to look for the little details in her cheekbone, just where it's a little bit darker. See that? Just see a little more volume. She's three-dimensional, right? She's she has volume and light is hitting her, so we want to make sure that we depict that. And I'm pumping the trigger back and forth, and what that does, it creates texture, but not arbitrarily creating texture, still doing the 1 second rule, and it helps me to not put in what's not there. Oh yes, definitely, Pete, this is for you guys, right? To do an early one like this, because I know my normal 9:30 on Wednesday, everyone is really hard pressed to get to it, you know? So that's very cool. So I'm glad my UK peeps are. Oh, I have some good news. I'm gonna pretty soon be able to ship these inks if anyone wanted to purchase them, and the shipping would only be like $6 US to ship. So that's going to be exciting. So stay tuned for that. Yes, no radar. Very true. So I have the light mixture, and once again, I'm just pumping that trigger to get that sort of skin texture. So guys, I am going to stop now. My stomach is rumbling, but this was a nice little quick impromptu live stream. Hey Juan Carlos, always great to see you, my friend. So we are doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Now it's sort of looking for the light values within the shadows. that's what we do here. And you can do that with the white pastel. You can go ahead and make sure that it's not just a volume, just a value and shapes, but there's a lot going on in those shapes, and try and depict that, you know, through careful observation and trying to do the lights and darks within the shapes. Just like so. And we can get more intense, putting more pressure, applying more pressure, I should say. Oh, write gift on the package, Pete. Definitely, I'll write gift. And also, if you guys are interested, I'll actually go ahead and set it up so shipping will only be like $6 US. So otherwise it would be like 24. So I'm working that out for you. If you guys are interested, just go ahead and instant message me, and I would be really, you know, happy to tell you more on how we can do that. And I will write gift on it so you don't get hit with customs. And so there we go. And just want to get that texture of her chin there, her beautiful chin. And the more pressure, the more coverage. So almost done with this live stream. Now I'm going to do those really nice highlights there in her lips. So you see how we can really start to feel her skin and also the muscles underneath, and sort of really feel like maybe she could start to say something. And just everything's turning, right? We want everything to turn. So important. So if you look for things and see how they're turning and what you can do to make them turn more, will be a great advantage to your work. And just give it more impact. And that's what we all want. We want our work to have more impact. Okay guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget, on Facebook, Wednesday nights, 9:30 Eastern Time, I have a live stream, and next week will be part 2, painting Amy Lee from Evanescence. We hit 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I just wanted to thank you guys, and I hope you have a safe and happy weekend. And you know what? I may just do one tomorrow. I'm not sure. But I always like giving back to you guys. You guys always inspire me. Take care of yourselves. So that's take care of yourselves from YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. This has been Dream Platforms